What's cracking, everybody? Zerfel, Rose, and Maggie here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Hoenn Cup, a Great League format that is going to be celebrating with the last week of the season, kind of in tandem with our Hoenn Tour global event. So, looking at this cup, it's basically a very condensed version of the Great League, which is going to feature Pokemon that are already very popular in the Great League, like Registeel, Metacham, Pelipper, Sableye, Altaria, Defense Deoxys, Swampert, Walrein. There's a lot of Pokemon in this cup that we've already got built, so you're gonna be fine. You don't have to go out of your way to spend some wacky dust on these cups, unless you want to. And like most of the stuff we've got built from past metas, so this is a really easy cup to play. You know, you could pick basically anything from this top 10 or 15 and do just fine with it. So we're going to talk about the top 5 teams that I think are going to do well. Now, just to be clear though, these are just some general meta teams. They're not going to be like the best team that ever existed. There is a fair amount of RPS because you've got things like, Registeel and Metacham and stuff like that. You know, there is a fair amount of RPS, but if you can find the things that can kind of break that RPS, that's where you're going to have the most success. So Pokemon that are going to follow that sort of rule, you're going to find a lot of Pokemon like Metacham and sometimes Pelipper. Sableye is an amazing pick in this meta to break that RPS, which is why I find it's going to be the best safe swap in the entire cup. Because it's finally safe, right? Not really many normal types, only maybe, one or two dark types to really do anything to it. And I don't even think they're really up here. Like Sharpedo, yeah, okay. Galarian Lanoon actually does look like it's legal in this cup because it's a form, so that's going to be something worth keeping an eye on. But as far as anything else, I mean, you're really not seeing much here, so not too much to go past. Maybe, I would say maybe going past rank 50, I think you'd be out of your mind to go for Spice, but I like Spice. So anyway, this first team here we've got is Registeel, Pelipper, Sableye. This is basically taking the Pelisteel core and adding the best safe swap in the cup to it. And honestly, any of the teams that we talk about, you could probably throw Sableye in the back and call it a good team. So Registeel, Pelipper have a very good core here. As we can see that it's really only broken in the ones by Registeel itself. Minun actually is somehow able to break it. I don't know how Minun wins in the ones versus Registeel. Probably just really bulky. And Swampert kind of like loosely does, but like Sableye is neutral against anything. So anything that like Sableye loses to, I'm almost certain that it's going to have some kind of, playability. You're falling asleep, aren't you? Oh yeah, she's had a long day, folks, so she's going to be asleep for this video and probably for tomorrow's because I'm recording all these in one go. So essentially what we've got here is the top threats for this team. It's going to be basically Registeel and then some top meta stuff that basically you can still play around, right? The Deoxys is still play aroundable. That's not even a word, but whatever, you know what I mean. And then we start getting into things like Metacham, and then this is where the cores work in here. You've got like Vigoroth is beaten by both in the back, Metacham's beaten by both in the back, Pelipper's beaten up front. There's a lot of things that are going to be, when you're looking at these team builders, essentially you just want to be looking for 1x in the front or 2x's in the back. And if you see 1x in one of the backs and none in the front, that's technically being core broken. So you just have to come up with a plan for how you're going to deal with a Pokemon like that. So if I see Swampert, I'm still going to bail to my Sableye and see what I can make happen. However, if I see a Deoxys defense, that's going to be a slightly different story because I know it's probably got Thunderbolt that's bad for Pelipper. So I have to come up with a plan how I'm going to do that. But anyway, that's the first team. Really solid team. Registeel, Pelipper is a super, super strong core, especially in the new meta with Wing Attack. So let's take a look at the next team here, which is a little bit on the spicier side, right? I tried my best not to use the same Pokemon in all of these teams. You might see one repeat here and there, but for the most part, I feel like the Altaria Regirock core is really strong because it's got that duality versus the fighters. There's not really any Charmers to worry about here. So what I'm really looking for is a team that can beat Swampert, and Regirock is still strong. And Registeel does kind of beat this whole team, not gonna lie. So I wouldn't really go and use this team if you're seeing a lot of Registeel in the meta. However, it dunks on Pelipper, dunks on Swampert in the back and the front, as long as it doesn't get aligned to the Regirock. And it can deal with some threats. I do definitely consider this to be a slightly spicier sort of team. So run it with your own caution, I suppose. But I just really like Regirock in this meta, and I feel like it cores very well with Altaria. Cradily just kind of felt like it fit here as another rock type that could just nuke something. It just seems very safe, but again, Registeel is going to be an issue here. So you could probably put something else up in the lead, or maybe put like, you know, Earthquake on your Regirock. That might make it a little bit easier for it to deal with. Let's see if Regirock with Earthquake actually beats Registeel. I actually don't know if it does in the Great League or not. I'm pretty sure no, it doesn't. One Focus Blast, I'm pretty sure, knocks out the Regirock. So, yeah, Regirock wins the 0s and then loses the 1s and 2s. So this is essentially just the Focus Blast doing just enough damage to put that Regirock into farm down range, and that's all she wrote. So unless you are in the, you know, shield advantage scenario, you're probably not doing too good. So anyway, well, maybe, you know, whatever. So we'll just talk about another team, because I can't get hung up on Registeel because I just hate the darn tin can. And everybody's probably going to have a Registeel now, so I would... just wait for the meta to shift. This team will be good, I promise. Anyway, next team we've got here is going to be Walrein with Deoxys and Metacham in the back. You already know from the Great League days that Metacham and Walrein form an excellent core, having that duality against the flying types like Altaria, and you're going to see Tropius in this meta as well. They're going to exist. And Deoxys is just a really solid, it could be a safe swap, could be your closer here, depending. It is worth noting in this meta that PvPoke does have Metacham running with Power Up Punch and Ice Punch. Probably just not as many things for Psychic to close with than the Ice Punch would do well against things like, you know, Tropius and Walrein, or not Walrein, Tropius and Altaria. There it is. Jeez. And then you've also got the Power Up Punch to deal with the Registeel. The Psychic Ice Punch moveset doesn't really help against Registeel as much, and Psychic against things like Deoxys and Metacham are okay. But anyway, I digress. So this team is a super solid team with an ABB sort of synergy to it. Deoxys defense does core break the team a bit, so you will have to finesse around that particular Pokemon. But as far as the rest of the Pokemon in this meta, I feel like Pelipper might be the only thing that really, like, in the Sims core breaks it. But at the same time, like, Walrein can do plenty fine against the flying toilet, and Dusclops is the only other thing that really core breaks, and that's probably just because it hits Walrein with a Poltergeist, which is what it has in this meta. So yeah, a Poltergeist would apparently... Wow. Poltergeist does how much? Dang. I might be running Dusclops next week, y'all. That's insane damage. Alright. I'm not putting a lot of stock into it, but Dusclops could be nasty. Anyway, let's talk about the next team. So, Metacham and Altaria do make a comeback here, but I looked through this meta, and I was like, man, you know what people who play Great League love? They love their Metacham Noctowl core. And you know what? You could replace that Noctowl with a Swellow. Yeah. 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 It's like a Skarmory, but worse. It's got the normal flying typing. It has the same moveset, except it has Wing Attack instead of Air Slash. But, I mean, look at this, folks. Mawile is the only thing that can just shred this team. And even then, like, I know that Metacham could 2-shield Power Punch through it if it had to, right? So, other than that, like, team seems super solid. Gardevoir kind of eats through it, though, which... hopefully we don't see any Gardevoirs. That would be nasty. Jirachi, too. Oh, dude, Jirachi is such a fun pick in this meta. My buddy Stop Alcatraz was scrimming with me the other day. He brought a Jirachi and just destroyed my face. It was fun, though. So, as far as the entire list of core breakers, the Altaria is a little bit rough here. Mawile, Gardevoir, Cast Form, Jirachi, those are the top, like, straight beats the rest of the team. And then we've got Swellow itself. Swellow beats Altaria in the woods, excuse me, because it gets the Brave Bird off, I'm pretty sure. So, anyway, I don't know. I just thought the Swellow was a really interesting pick, and I know people love their Metacham and normal cores. So, last team we're going to talk about here, not exactly a fun, you know, spice team here, which is what I usually slot in last. Maybe I should have put the Cradily team back here. But this is a really, this is kind of loosely based off of a team that I saw in Open Great League, where it had Altaria, Registeel, and some sort of fighter in the back as well. Could have been like Toxicroak, which is usually what's usually Toxicroak, but it could be Metacham. So this is kind of like a play on that team. So very meta team here. It's just super strong. Doesn't seem to get core broken by a whole lot that isn't called Whiscash, which Whiscash only beats Altaria because it lands a Blizzard in the ones, let's be real here. Gardevoir could be a problem, but Registeel is there for all charm, which is literally almost non-existent. Aside from Gardevoir and XL Delcatty, I think it's like the only things in this cup that have charm, which is why Sableye is so safe. So, yeah, there's a few like very rare core breakers. So like if you really want to play an anti-meta team, I mean, you're going to build a Dusclops, bring a Gardevoir, bring a Jirachi, and a Swellow. Like some team around those things, apparently those keep beating all my teams. So if you want to beat the meta teams, this is going to be the way to go. But anyway, that's going to be it for our top 5 teams for the Hoenn Cup, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, check out the Patreon Discord, link in the description for that. I am saving a couple of some really cool, spicy, sort of really good anti-meta teams for my Discord that aren't going to be in this video. So if you want to get access to those teams and try and make that last-ditch climb up to Legend next week and this week, go ahead and check out the Discord. And if you're looking to get some coaching in before the end of the season, I am on Metafy. Please look in the description for that as well. Have plenty of packages and plenty of lessons that I can use to help you make your jump to the next level of play. And I'm going to stop shilling myself. Maggie's asleep. You'll see her tomorrow in this exact same position because I'm about to record the next video. Have everybody a great rest of your season. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.